Hey guys, welcome to Denny's. Today, we're coming back with the Weekly Loot Cave's second episode. In this series, we will be going over the more notable loot available each week, more specifically, the best and most efficient missions to obtain the said loot, and where they are located at and how to be a bit more efficient with them. So stay tuned. Before we get into it, guys, I have a Discord community. Link is in the description if you guys would like to join. But other than that, remember to like the video if I helped you in any way. Comment any feedback you have for me in the comment section below. It goes an extremely long way, as most of the feedback has helped me tremendously so far. And lastly, subscribe if you feel that I've earned it. If not, next time I will, so keep posted to the channel. Also, I'm live every single day on Twitch, so please stop by, say hello, link is in the description, twitch.tv/AustinDees. I've had an amazing time answering questions, learning from everyone, and talking to all you guys, so definitely stop by. Without further ado, let's get into the Weekly Loot Cave Episode 2. So first things first, this Weekly Loot Cave is going to cover loot available from July 23rd to July 30th of 2024, and remember to use the timestamps and chapters to your heart's content. But let's start it off with the two components available this week. We've got the sensor available, as well as the processor for this week. Now, I've included a graphic on some important rolls you guys should look out for this week. As far as God rolls, as ever, I believe that for the sensor, you should be going for the max MP and MP recovery roll, with a good farming roll being the character experience rate and the consumable drop rate. And for the processor, not the best tanker damage rolls on here. So if you're going for pure survivability, grab the shield and shield recovery roll on it. If not, you're like me and don't really care, just go for the, don't care for shield, just go for the farming roll on them, which is going to be the item acquisition distance and the equipment drop rate. Honestly, it's pretty nice to have both of those. In my opinion, they're actually pretty nice. As always, guys, there will be a link in the description for all of the possible rolls on these guys, and keeping in mind we can roll HP, defense, or max shield as the main stat, with that spreadsheet serving as the secondary roll possibilities. Now, let's get into the most efficient missions to farm this week for the sensor. And ladies and gentlemen, we hit the lotto on this one. This mission was the best farm in the game prior to the Valby farm being introduced. And this is the Abandoned Refinery mission on the in the Abandoned Zone. The build of choice for me in this farm is obviously going to be Bunny, but I know there's starting to be loads of other Descendants with pretty crazy farming potential, so you can go Viessa, Valby, Bunny, whoever you guys want to go that you think will be the fastest, whatever build you have. The idea is basically to run the entire mission. After starting it, you just kind of run in loops. As you can see the video here, you're just running out of the cave, restarting it every 30 seconds. This will net you around 7 to 10 million gold an hour, as well as anywhere from 4 to 8 ultimate sensors every 30 seconds to about a minute. Extremely lucky with this one this week. For anyone that wants to farm a few semi-bis, non-set bonus sensors, this is definitely the mission to do it this week. It's actually insane. So we'll move on to we'll follow the sensor up with the processor, guys. So honestly, another really good week to farm, because you'll be killing like 3 birds with 1 stone with this mission. We've got the command relay mission over in the Frozen Valley. This mission notably drops the ion particles needed to research your energy activators, and this is the best mission for that, in my opinion. So you can absolutely run the extermination mission next to it, but in my testing, the barrier deactivation mission won by a decent margin as far as drops, and the elites for the energy activator farm, so keep that in mind. Simply put, this mission, all you're doing is running in circles, shocker, waiting for elites to spawn in the center and just blasting them as soon as you see them to get the mission to restart. This will net you around 2 to 6 ultimate processors per run. Obviously pretty RNG, not as good as the sensor farm this week, that's for sure. But I do believe we still got lucky with this one, as this is just a really, really good farm for those energy activator ion particles. But next we are going to hop into some of the notable reactors that are dropping this week. I'm going to highlight some I'll be going for, and then I'll highlight some of the ones that are dropping for important builds this week, while quickly going over the best missions to farm for them. Starting off with my favorite Descendant, Lepic. We've got a couple tech and fire reactors dropping for both green and orange rounds this week. So for orange rounds, you're going to want to farm the extermination mission on screen now, located at the converter facility. This will be the most efficient mission there. As far as the green rounds for Lepic, you'll want to do the Fortress Command entrance extermination mission located in the defense line on Fortress. You can see it popped up there. And then next up, we've got Bunny's orange rounds this week. So, for this one, the most efficient mission I found was the extermination mission in the Sterile Lands Ironworks Zone, the weapon processing facility. Right as you spawn into the fast travel point in the Ironworks, you'll get it done extremely quick, and the mobs don't spawn far from where the mission starts. And it ends pretty near there as well, so it's decently efficient. And then another reactor that's going to be a good farm this week is going to be for Sharen's builds, going for the Q and ultimate damage. It's going to be the General Rounds Electric and Fusion Reactor that's dropping in the Destruction located in Kingston. Guys, there's not a lot of choice here. All the missions are pretty quick except for the defense mission. I would go with the composite mission right next to the fast travel, the Field Communications Center mission, as you can see there on screen. That's the one for Sharen's reactor farm. Again, for her Q and her ultimate ability is what that scales with, that fusion and electric reactor. The penultimate reactor we're going to talk about this week is going to be, it might be a pretty big one for some people. It's going to be Viessa's reactor for her builds revolving around her ultimate ability. This is the Chill and Tech reactor, available for general rounds. It is dropping from Starfall Road in Hagios this week. The most efficient mission this week was a bit tougher to find, but in the testing I did, guys, it's going to be the Ancient Quantum Facility mission right at the spawn. The key point here to get this efficient is you're going to want to abort the mission as soon as you're done with the seizure part of the mission before you go into the cave with the laser beams. You'll get a ton more drops this way and be way more efficient because the mobs just stop spawning and you have to go and do a defense right after that. Just restarting the mission and just going back and forth. Basically, I was getting anywhere from 2 to 5 ultimates every few minutes just doing it this way. Honestly, not a bad farm at all for Viessa's reactor this week, but still not many options, to be honest with you. And lastly, our poor undertuned Descendant Blair, somebody that I really want to play more but just doesn't do the same amount of damage as Lepic, has a reactor dropping this week with the General Rounds and Dimension from the Muskeg Swamp in the Echo Swamp. Now, guys, these missions, there's some pretty bad choices this week here for this one. Honestly, you could just farm the outpost here with Sharen if you're trying to go for some amorphous patterns and whatnot, or for some materials, you know, net some good results, get a lot of things done at once. However, not the most efficient for just the reactor. So I went with the multi-seizure mission, the Tree of Truth. I try to do some of the mechanic cheesing here as far as letting the mob stand on the point, whatnot, trying to capture multiple at once. It doesn't really work for the life of me. I really pretty much can't get this mission to go any quicker or spawn any more mobs. So not the most efficient, but nonetheless the only way to get Blair's reactor this week. And I'm going to go off on a tangent for like 30 seconds here. I really would love to see Blair get a buff. The fantasy of that is just such a cool fantasy, and I hope that maybe he can start doing a little bit more damage with his Spirit Bomb with his ult. Because I feel like something that big should just have a giant damage number on it. Nothing crazy and that breaks the game, but definitely bigger than what it is. I think people were able to get us like up to 15 million right now, and I just feel like I feel like it should be closer to like 20 to 25 million with like peak mods and everything. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'm just not looking at the right stuff. But anyway, guys, definitely get it for him because, you know, you never know if Blair's actually going to be good in the future when he's buffed or not. So definitely give this a go this week. Other than that, that wraps it up for the lot, for the weekly loot cave. I appreciate anyone who stayed all the way through. It's mega rare to do so I massively appreciate it. I also hope everybody has a wonderful week of grinding. I wish you the best luck in your plundering of loot and booty, but I'm out of here. Peace out, guys. Goodbye.